In this stunning trade, Naz Reid was not supposed to be the headline, but in Minnesota, he became the heartbreak. It is hard to imagine just how beloved he was there. After he was traded, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz posted on social media, "You'll always have a home in Minnesota, Naz." In Minnesota, people would literally say Naz Reid like a greeting. A lot of people have Naz Reid tattooed on their bodies, even an 82-year-old grandmother. Around Minnesota, you can see signs that say, "If you love Naz Reid, honk." At home games, rally towels with Naz Reid on them are handed out. He was technically a bench player, so why was he so loved? Because his story did not just represent an underdog story. A lot of fans here saw a piece of themselves in him. They saw the Timberwolves' own journey in him. Naz always believed the Timberwolves would not trade him. After all, around Minnesota, he felt like part of the soul of the Wolves. So when the trade actually happened, sadness was not even the first thing he felt. He just felt like he owed Minnesota a thank you. On June 20th, 2019, at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Reid watched one player after another get selected. He heard one name after another get called, and until the very last name was announced, he never heard the name Naz Reid. Remember, before the draft, Reid was still the number 3 power forward prospect in the country. He was a McDonald's All-American, but on draft night, he went undrafted. Fortunately, on July 5th, the Timberwolves gave him a 2-way contract. Summer League was his only chance. 13 days, 7 games. He averaged 11.9 points and 5.4 rebounds. Minnesota finished as the runner-up, and the Wolves immediately converted his deal into a standard contract. A lot of people do not know what he went through. When he was a kid, his family was poor. Getting canned food from community relief centers and digging through convenience store trash cans for expired bread became part of life. He had known hunger too well, so whenever there was food, he put it in his mouth. In college, his weight climbed to 300 pounds. He played well, but he was still suspended by the team. On his draft profile, the words "poor discipline" cut like a knife. After going undrafted, he woke up at 4 in the morning every day to run in a weighted vest. He cut out all junk food. Over 2 years, he dropped nearly 100 pounds from his body. He did it for one reason. He wanted to prove they were wrong about him. From a bargain 4-year, $6 million contract, to a ridiculously team-friendly 3-year, $42 million deal, and now to a 5-year, $125 million deal. The Wolves never gave up on him. They gave him chance after chance. When he injured his left wrist, fractured a bone in his elbow, and was ruled out for the season, they still signed this undrafted player to a 3-year deal. And what he gave them in return was this. He became the first 6th Man of the Year in Timberwolves franchise history. The fans here were unbelievable. They tattooed Naz Reid on their bodies. You could even see signs on the side of the road and outside pizza shops that said, "If you love Naz Reid, honk." At home games, when he checked in, the cheers were louder than the starting lineup introductions. His jersey sold like crazy at the Wolves team store. He became a folk hero in Minnesota. That feeling is almost impossible to describe. In the summer of 2025, Reid could have hit free agency. He signed a 5-year, $125 million deal to stay with the Timberwolves. A lot of teams saw his value. The money was in the same range as Minnesota's. Some even promised him a starting role. His agent asked him, "What are you even thinking?" Reid gave his agent an answer from the heart. He wanted to stay here, because the people here opened a door for him when nobody else would. He arrived here at 19 years old. He poured every drop of sweat, every bit of exhaustion, and every ounce of frustration onto the hardwood in Minnesota. And during this offseason, the front office even told him they were committed to making him a starter. He had never really thought about the business side of it. He only hoped he could stay here forever. But in the end, he had to say goodbye. He was once ranked inside the top 20 in the country. After college, he went undrafted. At the time, his conditioning and his defense were both questioned. The Wolves gave him a chance. He started on a 2-way contract and worked his way into the rotation step by step. His 3-point shot became a weapon, and when he put the ball on the floor, his game was actually fun to watch. When Karl Anthony Towns was injured, Reid stepped into the starting lineup. That season, he won 6th Man of the Year. He helped the team reach the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota then rewarded him with a long-term contract. This past season, you could see him keep playing through injuries, persistence, growth, loyalty. That is everything Naz gave Minnesota over 7 years. People believe that he, just like Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, was part of the identity of this team. So when the trade happened, what made Wolves fans sad was not just losing a 6th man of the year. They lost the player who had come up with this team all the way from the bottom to the Western Conference Finals. 7 years ago, Minnesota gave an undrafted player a chance. 7 years later, that young man became the player this city least wanted to lose. In the future, many young players will come here. New stories will be written, but for Minnesota fans, the name Naz Reid will always feel a little different.